welcome to this training where I'm going to share my formula for live streams that sell premium offers. If you watch this training and you think it could be valuable to one of your other business besties, someone else that you know, I would love you to please invite them into my world, as I'm here to have a really big impact and I love to share my value. And so I lead with generosity, and I hope you all see that. You are going to want pen and paper, right? Or your notes if you prefer to be electronic like I am, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of information, and to extract it all, you might want to write it down and or come back and watch this again and again, because there will be a replay available. Because despite the simplicity of everything that I share, because really I don't do anything too complex in my business, there are little things, little intricacies to everything that I teach that you want to make sure that you pick up on. So before I go any further into the details of the training, let me just super quickly introduce myself to those of you who may be new to my world. My name is Anne Ryan. I'm a business mentor and a money mindset coach, and I help my clients who tend to be coaches and consultants to package and position their incredible value into a high ticket offer. An offer so good that it practically sells itself. I show my clients how to accelerate their authority. And, these live streams are one example of that, and I'll be talking about it more in this training. So they can actually take their prospects, their audience, from cold to sold fast, right? And I talk about this all the time. And I help my clients to implement a predictable, organic client attraction system that brings in consistent income month after month, and doing all of this working less than 4 hours a day most days, right? Most days, like some days I should say, I only work about 30 minutes. And then there are some days when I might work a little bit longer, right? Because there are seasons and projects that I could be working on and that kind of thing. So, but on average, I would say I work less than 4 hours most days. So if you'd like to explore what working with me looks like, comment #support or send me a DM. The investment to work with me is increasing on the 1st of July. So if you've been thinking about this for a little while, there's no better time than now, right? I will not sell to you if you come into the DMs. I won't sell to you. I won't even offer you a sales call. I will just give you all the information, anything that you want to know, and only if it feels like a full body yes, should you work with me, right? No convincing required. I'm not doing that. And so you've got nothing to lose, right? Back to today's training, which is what you're here for, really. Selling on live streams. It's been something that's been around for a while, right? And I've been doing this for probably 3 to 4 years now. At least 2.5 years very, very consistently, right? And because, initially I kind of avoided getting on camera, quite honestly, but then I realized how camera can really, really help to build that know, like, and trust. And it was something, kind of a little fear that I also wanted to overcome. And, I'm a strong believer in mastery too, right? I don't do lots of things. I really don't do lots of things. But what I do, I just try and get better and better and better and better at it, right? And so that's been one of the things. And live streams is something that I know a lot of my audience struggle with too. I talk to other coaches, other consultants, and they don't feel comfortable on camera, and they don't leverage live streams to make sales, right? Some do, and a lot don't. And the biggest issue I see is that they get stuck on thinking what to talk about. And they fear all sorts of things, they fear giving too much away or not giving enough, and I'm going to be sharing my exact sort of formula, right, to overcome some of these fears. And I'd love to know if you could just let me know in the comments. Are you doing live streams now? How often are you doing live streams? Do you like them? Do you hate them? How do you feel about them? Are they successful? Are you making sales from them? Let me know. The more you can share, and if you write a slightly longer message, I may not be able to read it all because sometimes my screen moves really fast and I can't read all the comments. But I will always come back and read every single word that you share with me, and I will respond and might be able to give you an extra tip or strategy or suggestion or something, right? That might be helpful. See, ladies, what happens when you do leverage live streams is that you accelerate your authority. You are immediately seen as an expert when you do it well, right? And when you share value and content that is relevant, I keep talking about relevant stuff all the time, to your audience, right? And this is not just kind of just coming on live and just having a conversation, and that's okay too, right? That is perfectly okay too, just to get, to just connect with people. But when you're actually, selling on live streams, it's really important that you're also delivering some really good value, right? And I personally, my goal is to lead with generosity. I feel so much abundance. I know there's so much more that my clients get, and I want every single one of you to leave my trainings thinking, wow, if this is what she shares for free, imagine what I get when I pay her, right? So that's my goal, quite honestly. And I don't worry about giving too much away. I don't worry about not giving away the how, because a lot of people are like, oh, don't give the how, just give the why and the what and the something else, but don't give the how, because, it's only the clients who pay you that get the how. And I'm like, my clients get so much more than the how, right? So, and most importantly, like sales aside, obviously we're all here in business to make money, to make sales, to have an impact, to work with lots and lots of clients, is, I have so many raving fans, right? And people who are just so grateful, and they're in my inbox, and I get all this incredible feedback and thank you messages and testimonials from people who haven't even given me a cent. And that's okay. I feel incredibly good about that. I feel so incredibly generous, and it just makes my heart sing, right? So to me, there's no downside with the value that I offer. Hello, gorgeous Liana. Good to see you. I have done them, but only for low ticket offers. Okay, that's cool. I don't know if there's a huge difference between low ticket and high ticket, quite honestly. As long as the value is there and people kind of see, what's available to them, then, they can make that buying decision, right? Karen says, I want to revive my Facebook group, but haven't gone live in some time. Well, Karen, that's a huge opportunity that is awaiting you. You can revive a Facebook group. You absolutely can. And, I know lives are not for everyone, right? I get that. I get video is not for everyone, and that's okay too. I'm not saying like a business is doomed and cannot succeed without live streams. That's not what I'm saying either. But live streams can be incredibly effective. So yes. Every single one of my clients has signed up after watching one or more of my live streams. I have actually signed up clients who just watched one live stream. But, most clients would probably have watched multiple, right? And in fact, think about how you all got to know me, right? Most people are drawn into my world to watch a live stream because I promote something that I'm going to go live, and train about, right? People say yes, and then they come into my world, and here we are inside of this community where my clients, my prospects, my audience can binge watch all of this content and make a really quick decision, right? So it can, we don't necessarily have to think of that live stream as being, oh, well, if I didn't get that sale immediately from that live stream, then it was a failure. Well, that's not actually true, right? Because in that case, I failed many times. But people watch replays, and that's the thing, and I'm going to be talking more about that as well, right? So people watch my live streams. They they sometimes binge watch over the weekends, and then they reach out to me, and if they resonate with my the conversation that we have in Messenger, and of course, if they're in a position to make the investment, they start working with me, right? So when it comes to the actual formula for a live stream that sells, the first thing to consider is what will be the topic, right? The topic of your live stream. And I know a lot of people struggle with this, right? If you already know what it is that your clients want to hear, then that's awesome, right? Otherwise, what I suggest is you need to step into the shoes of your ideal dream client, and ask yourself the following questions. So you might want to write this down, come back and watch this again. What is she struggling with? What does she find most challenging? What is she telling herself, right? Because we all have this internal narrative, and as coaches, as consultants, we want to help them to shift these narratives that may not be serving them, right? So we need to understand these things. What does she want instead of what she currently has? What's her secret dream? What's her biggest goal? These are the kinds of things that you really need to understand about your audience, about your prospects, about your ideal clients, right? And then you create content around that. A live stream that addresses the answer to one of those questions is going to be relevant and incredibly compelling. And ideally, you will deliver your live stream with a replay available, like I said before, because, not everyone will be able to attend at the time that you go live, not, because of time zones and other things. I personally, I want every single piece of content that I create, including live streams, to have a long shelf life. I want people to watch it over and over and over again. I want new people who come into my world to see stuff that I created 6 months ago and 12 months ago. Because that's me demonstrating my expertise and my authority, and that's how people can make a buying decision really, really fast too. So when it comes to the practicalities of a live stream, I like to create notes, so I have something to follow. And I have some notes right in front of me. I've got some bullet points right in front of me. I have notes. That's my personality type. I'm not like I'm a fly by the seat of my pants type of person when it comes to so many things, but live streams, I guess, I want to make sure I hit certain points, and, that I've given you what you've come for, right? That's really, really important to me, because I can sometimes ramble about stuff and then, miss the details. So I always have some notes, and live streams can be as long or as short as you choose. I tend to go for that 45-minute to 1 hour mark. Everyone is busy, including me. But I find that, I can get a lot of, I can probably get a lot of the training across in a shorter period of time, maybe 30 minutes, but then, I won't be able to have as much engagement, and I would really need to not ask any questions and, and just teach. Yeah, just teach. So, um, you know, personally, my goal is to aim for like 3/4 of the live stream to be incredibly valuable. Yeah. And 1/4 of the live stream to be about your offer. That's the selling component. Yeah. We need to do that. We have to keep telling people that we're here to help. Yeah. And so that, that's kind of my goal. Like, I don't particularly get my stopwatch out and kind of measure that exactly, but that's kind of my goal, right? I'm not gonna give 45 minutes of fluff and then, and I don't create trainings that are really a sales pitch disguised as a training, but I'm selling. I'm absolutely selling, but I'm making sure that I'm delivering a lot of value in the process. See, what you have to remember is the live stream goal is to not only share the value though, yeah, because we are here to sell. So it's about getting that balance right. And at the same time, it can't be like the old school webinars where it was just really a pitch fest. Yeah. And with like the tiniest amount of value, and if you blinked, you probably would have missed it. Yeah, but it works. And a lot of the bro marketers and people who sell like that are still incredibly successful, right? Because what they focus on more is tapping into the emotion and inspiring people, and kind of helping you to see what's possible, rather than actually giving you the how or the what or the answers, right? So that strategy works. I just don't choose to do business that way. Yeah, because I like to actually just give everything away. So you can deliver your live stream on any number of platforms. You can run a live stream on Zoom and actually have people invited into Zoom so they're present with you. I mean, I've tried all the different ways and they all work, right? They all work equally well. The Zoom brings in a bit more intimacy, it feels a little bit more connected sometimes than, going live on Facebook or on YouTube or Instagram or another platform. There's a little bit of a disconnect because I guess you guys can see me and I can't see you, so there's not as much of that deeper connection that can happen, but they're all effective, right? And I'd say 90% of my live streams are done like this, where I can't see you, but you can see me. Yeah. And they work and they sell. I think from a repurposing perspective and from a future, people watching the replay and all that perspective, this is more effective because then everyone feels equally involved, rather than like they're watching a conversation that's happening over there that they're not really a part of. Yeah. And so they're just my thoughts on it. And something that I wanted to share that I get asked about a lot is you can give the same live stream more than once. Yeah. I repeat what I teach a lot. You guys, if you've been following me for a little while, you will hear what I teach. The things that I say the same thing, but I say it in different ways. I have different hooks. I have different titles. I'm teaching simplicity in business, guys. You know, I'm not teaching 5,600 different things. By the way, that's my favorite number at the moment, 5,600. So anything that's more than 3 or 5 becomes 5,600. And so I have no fear with repeating myself, but every single time I give the training, I come at it from a very different angle. If you go back to, I think it was sometime in January, I did a very similar topic, a training. So, but it was different. I came at it from a different angle, right? And so I was looking at it through a different lens. But ultimately, it was about live streams and selling on live streams and delivering lots of value on live streams, right? So, yeah. So give yourself the permission to repeat yourself. Are you picking up what I'm putting down so far? Do you have any questions so far on what I've shared before I go into more details? Let me know. Drop them in the comments. So when creating your live stream content, yeah, your promise will be kind of typically one sentence that gets people's attention and is always, it needs to be based on a benefit. Yeah. So the benefit basically answers a question. Yeah. Like a question that your audience, your ideal client, your viewers, your people, yeah, a question that they have, which is, how is this going to help me? Right? If they don't care, they ain't gonna show up. They're not gonna watch your live stream, and they're certainly not gonna buy at the end of the live stream. Yeah. So, I've suggested some questions to ask yourself, to get into the shoes of your client and ask yourself, well, when it comes to the promise, the title of your training as well, it's like you've got to ask yourself, well, in your client's shoes, how's this going to help me? What problem is this actually solving for me? What will I be able to do or achieve as a result of what is being offered in the live stream? Yeah. This is how you can really create something that's going to be beneficial and not just some kind of talk about some random topic that might be of interest to you, right? So, and when I talk about a promise, this is free still, yeah. And so I'm talking about a promise within a live stream, yeah. So whilst I think it's important to, when we make promises, to make them as tangible as possible, it's as long as there's a shift, whether it's a mindset shift, whether your prospect finally sees that there's an opportunity for them to do something a different way than they were doing before, or they actually walk away with something that's really, really tangible, like step by step, tips and strategies and that kind of thing, it's all going to be valuable, right? Whether it's a physical shift, whether it is that someone actually goes off and makes a sale, or whatever it is, like as long as they kind of walk away with some kind of a aha moment, yeah, then it's going to be valuable, yeah. So my process for creating the promise is I often bring into these live streams conversations that I'm having with my clients. Yeah. And so earlier this week, I was having a conversation with a client who has been thinking about doing live streams, and she's been working with me for a while since November last year, doing incredibly well. Like she's close to 100k months, and she hasn't done a live stream. So there, go figure, right? But she's actually still, creates great content and has been a good speaker at, on stage, and kind of brought in income that way as well. And we were talking about live streams, right? And so I thought, oh yeah, okay, well, it's been a while. I remember talking about this, I think it was back in January. So I'll come in here and I'll share this training, because I know there are so many people out there who struggle with this, right? This is a problem that my community has, that they haven't quite cracked the code. They haven't quite figured out this whole live streaming thing, and especially when it comes to selling, right? So, that's how I personally come up with the idea. But, in your case, just kind of like ask yourself those questions, right? And then come up with a concept, come up with a high level concept. And as you get closer and closer to the date of when you're going to start promoting it, then, really kind of think about, well, what is the title going to be? How are you going to make that hook, compelling? It needs to be a hook. People need to kind of go, I want that. Yeah. So, and that promise is often part of the headline, right? So my promise for today's training is the formula for live streams that sell premium offers. Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So when it comes to that hook, when it comes to that title, there are different ways that you can come up with it, right? There are 7 actually different ways. I don't use them all, but I'm going to just quickly run through all 7 of them. One is curiosity provoking. Yeah. When you're provoking curiosity, you're not giving anything away in the title, but but people want this thing that you're kind of alluding to, and they're really kind of curious about your way. Yeah. For example, the shift I made to reach 100k months. Yeah. They're like, what was the shift? It provokes curiosity, right? The second type is how-to focused. How to have a 10k month. How to, I don't know, make money in your sleep. I don't do that, but you know what I'm saying. It's how to, yeah. The third type of a hook or title is best kept secrets. The secret to the the thing I wish I knew before I started my business. What I would do if I was to start all over again. That kind of a title, yeah. And that can be really effective when people are following you and they aspire to be like you, and then it's like, well, they want to know that, yeah. A fourth type is to talk about what's working now, the old way and the new way. In the weight loss industry, it might be, used to be carbs and now it's the keto diet. It used to be the no carbs diet and now it's the keto diet. Whatever it is, right? It's kind of the new and the different and what's working now in this space, in this niche, in this industry. The fifth way is to magnify a pain point. I personally, I don't go down this path. It's not my preferred way of enticing people to come and watch my live streams, but they can be really effective, right? The biggest mistakes, or the really talking to the pain point that people are feeling. Yeah. A sixth way is making something complex simple. I do this a lot, right? So the one way to do something under 2 hours a day or under 1 hour a day. Like as soon as you can kind of help people to see that there's an easier way, there's a simpler way, there's a faster way, then, they're interested, right? And the seventh and final way is like offering a step by step. It's different to how to, it's like a step by step. It's my step by step approach to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so all of these are sort of different types of promises that can be made through your title, through your content, ultimately through your live stream. Yeah. So let me know if you have any question. How often would you repeat? Liana asks. I probably, Liana, repeat something every, sometimes even 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I would say. So, all right, let me put it this way. So for example, the topic of sales, I might repeat every 6 weeks. Yeah. 6 to 8 weeks. But then selling through live streams, selling through content, selling through, you know what I mean? Like, so the high level topic of selling, I repeat quite frequently, maybe every 6 weeks even. Yeah. So I've got some like core things that I talk about, whether it's creating high ticket offers, whether it's money mindset, whether it's kind of branding and standing out, whether it's sales, and so on. And so, those kind of highest topics I repeat probably every 6 weeks. It depends if I throw in a, ask me anything type session, and, I occasionally have a week off. So like next week, I'm having a week off. I'm going on vacation. So, so 6 to 8 weeks. And then, but within sales, I might, focus on slightly different things, right? So, for example, the live stream topic I last talked about in January. Yeah. And so, but, within these same topics and promises, I'm repeating myself in different ways. I'm talking about it needs to be compelling, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be, I'm talking about high ticket, I'm talking about simplicity. I repeat myself a lot because, like, these things, sort of these core messages and core beliefs that I have that are really kind of woven through everything that I share are very much repeated over and over again, right? Hope that makes sense. So when it actually comes to the meat of the value itself within the live stream, like my goal is to get across at least 3 core things across. Yeah. Sometimes more. I don't, again, even count. I don't even come into this going, oh, I'm not going to give it all. I'm just going to give this much, right? But I come into this going, okay, right, so what do they need to know? What does my audience need to know about live streams? What do my audience need to know about the structure of live streams? What do they need to know about the title of the live stream? What do they need to know about the promise? What do they need to know about actually selling and that kind of thing, right? So so I kind of aim to get across some core elements of it. And so you've got to think about that, right? Sort of brainstorm on a piece of paper all the things that you want to get across, yeah? And then I also have some specific points as well. And I recommend, this is where you know, it, yeah, this is not like an essential thing, but this is what I recommend, is that you kind of look at your content in terms of, you know, steps or strategies or shifts or keys or pillars or, you know, that kind of thing, right? Like, so it kind of all makes sense for your audience as well. So it kind of all comes together and it all flows, and people aren't sort of left with, what the F was she talking about? and it's interesting because I'm using this live stream as an example to also teach about live streams, right? So I hope that doesn't get confusing, but I hope you get to come back and watch this again as well. Yeah, and then, you know, the other thing that I wanted to get across, which I have in my notes, is that, you know, once I've decided on what the topic is going to be, yeah, often driven by a conversation that I'm having with my client, then, you know, I create an event, and then I use the bullet points from the event to create posts and to create kind of hooks and lead generation and get people to come to this, to the live stream, right? I did a terrible job, by the way, this week for this live stream, because I'm more focused on the fact that I'm actually increasing the investment, right, of my coaching. And so I've got a few little behind the scenes projects that I'm working on, and I'm having a lot more conversations in my DMs since I've promoted that, right? And so I haven't actually promoted this live stream as much, but I will still promote it. I will still repurpose it. I will still milk this, because I'm going to show up for, you know, 45 minutes to an hour. It'll probably go an hour. And God damn it, I'm going to make sure that as many people as possible see it. I don't just kind of, you know, I don't create a lot. I create one thing a week. Yeah. And so, you know, and I talked about that last week when I talked about how I have simplified everything. So this is like, the core thing. My live stream is the core thing that I create, right? Every single week, one live stream, and all my content comes off this one live stream, right? And so I want to make sure that everyone, or as many people as possible, see it. Yeah. And just some other ideas for you guys, you know, if you don't have clients and people in your audience that are prompting you with kind of ideas of what to create your live streams on, is to look at your program. Yeah. And your program, you know, the modules or however it is that you deliver your program, they often become my core pieces of content, if that makes sense. You know, like the highest level stuff, like the things that I teach in my program, the things that I teach in my mastermind, that the conversations that I have, and, you know, then form my content. Yeah. And the advantage of this, I love this, right? The advantage of this is you are educating your audience, your prospects, about your coaching before they even become a client. Seriously, my clients hit the ground running for this reason, because they binge watch things. They come in with a really good understanding of what they're going to be doing, how it's going to be working, you know, what I do, what I teach, and all those things, right? And so then it becomes very much, how can we personalize this specifically for you and your situation? And, you know, and that's the value of my paid coaching. Yeah. All right. So now, with each live stream, I organize my content into 4 parts. Yeah. And I did it on this live stream too, and I'm going to explain that right now, and so you can kind of see how I did it. First, I describe the problem, including specific situations your potential clients are finding themselves in. So an example of this could be, and I've done this in a previous live stream, so I'm going to give you 2 examples. You know, one example is, You want to raise your fees. It's a topical one. You want to raise your fees, but you don't know how to. You're worried that you're already struggling to make sales. So what chance do you have when your rates are higher? Now that's a real problem. Yeah, that's a real problem, and I've done live streams on that, and I call out that problem at the very beginning. Yeah, and today I started this live stream with selling on live streams is something that's been around for a little while, and it's incredibly effective. Yet, so many coaches struggle with it, and they don't leverage live streams, and they don't know, what to talk about, that kind of thing. Yeah. So then the second part is once you've described the problem, the second part is to describe why this is a problem. Yeah. So you've outlined the problem, but now you want to really articulate why this is an issue. This is where you start to dive deeper, and again, be real, right? You don't have to be subtle about this. So like using the example of raising the prices, you might say something like, not raising your rates will be holding you back from achieving everything that you truly desire. Yeah. And today I said the biggest issue I see is that most coaches get stuck in overthinking, and fearing all sorts of things, including they don't want to talk about, they don't know what to talk about, or they fear giving too much away, or worse still, not giving enough. Yeah. That's why they're not doing live streams. That's why they're having problems with live streams, because they're stuck in their head and they're massively overthinking this. Yeah. Third thing, 3, describe what happens when the problem is solved. Yeah, so by using pieces will be delivered in your ultimate program. Yeah, so this is how you can then make your live stream a really easy flow into your ultimate thing that you're selling. Everything that I talk about in my live streams are the things that I'm selling. It's the things that I'm coaching on, right? So this is the thing. I'm giving you all these insights into my world. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I be afraid? There's so much abundance that I feel, and I've got so much to share that it's really not hard to do this. Yeah. So using the pricing example, what happens when you do raise your prices are you do it in a way that's authentic and aligned for you. You show up with so much confidence, and sales actually become a lot easier. Yeah, so that's what I would say. When it comes to today's training, what I said is, but what happens when you leverage live streams is that you accelerate your authority. You are immediately seen as an expert. And when you do it well, you leave people thinking, wow, is this what she shares for free? Imagine what I get when I pay her. Do you remember hearing that at the beginning? So I know this might be a little bit confusing because I'm sort of teaching and then also reflecting on exactly how I feel like it might be a little bit confusing, but let me know if this is landing for you, right? The fourth thing is to share the tips, share the insights, share the mindset, share the hows, share the steps, whatever it is, the actual kind of the body of your training, your promise. And that's the bulk of what this training has been. Let me know if that is making sense. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm actually probably going to leave it at that. I was going to talk about another way of creating live streams where the focus is more on the objection handling, you know, the things that people are thinking about, not necessarily about solving our clients' problems, but actually handling the objections that are coming up in their head. But it all follows a very similar concept, right? It's the same thing. It's just a different angle on it. So I won't go into that because I'm mindful of time. I'm glad it's making sense, Liana. Thank you. If you would like to explore what working with me looks like, as I shared at the very beginning, and it's also on this post, my prices are going up. The investment to work with me will increase on the 1st of July. I increase my rates, you know, whenever I feel like I want to add more value, or, you know, when I can see that it's an absolute no-brainer and it feels really aligned and perfect timing to do it right now, 1st of July. It's the middle of the year. It's actually the end of our financial year on the 30th of June in Australia. So that's what's happening. So there's no better time to explore working with me than right now. Hashtag support if you want me to reach out, or send me a private message if you'd like to find out more. I promise you there's no sales calls, there's no sales pitch, there's just, you just get the information that you asked for, right? And that is all. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. You are so welcome, Karen. Let me know, watch this video again, take some notes. If there's any gaps, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you're watching the replay, please make sure to tag me, because, you know, sometimes people watch the replay days and weeks later, and if they don't tag me, I don't see the question. And yeah, but I'm here to serve, I'm here to help, so I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you for being here, and I will see you probably in a couple of weeks, actually, because I am away next week. It's come around really quick. So thanks for watching. Bye.